Tonight on the EMBN show, we'll be looking into direct sales with Vitus bikes.
And as promised last week, we're going to be talking all about dual wheel sizes.
And from all around the world, more photos and videos and more stinging banter from my colleague Martin Ashton.
It's all coming up on the EMBN show!
So what's been happening around the world this week? Well, I had this message in from Arek down in Benidorm on the Costa Blanca, and I think this is a classic kind of club midweek ride, and we're definitely seeing pockets of riders getting together and getting on these rides kind of every week now. So this looks great, you know, kind of dry hills, kind of dusty trails, finishing off down the high rise down on the coast with a kind of cold beer.
Great.
It looks brilliant, you know, and I think mixed ages, mixed abilities, kind of.
Yeah, this is e-bikes at its strongest, you know. This is the example of what you can do on it. Riding in a group, having fun. Like I say, it looks amazing in Benidorm. That trail is spectacular.
Martin, I'd like to see more of this kind of on the channel.
Yeah, I mean, if you're out there and you're doing club rides like this, then send it in, because we definitely want to see more of them. What you're doing with your e-bikes, it would be great to see, wouldn't it? So Steve, what about this bit of tech on Nino Schurter's World Cup bike over in Stellenbosch? I love seeing these gizmos coming across from the road. He's got electronic gears on, basically the ETAP system. Looks very cool. What do you think?
Yeah, well, electronic gear shifting is not new on mountain bikes, but I think it's good to see it's good new technologies bringing the sport of two wheels forwards.
Yeah.
However, you would not believe how much this has fired up people in Washington State and on the internet because of the land access kind of legislation in that part of the world. They seem to have connected this, and I know there is it's a battery assisted kind of electronic system.
Yeah.
For some reason they're confusing this with e-bike access in Washington State.
What? What, electronic gears could ban you from riding your bike on a certain bit of trail?
Apparently so, if you read some kind of pieces on the World Wide Web, yeah. But anyway, to kind of go through the kind of land access in Washington State, basically they have categorized e-bikes from obviously non-e-bikes through to kind of electric pedal assist and through the throttle assist. And I think it's a really good proactive approach to kind of managing the land there. And basically, it comes down to the land manager to decide whether e-bikes are allowed or not. And this is on natural terrain. So, yeah, I think it's I think it's one way of doing things.
It's interesting, but it's scary to see how the mention of batteries and electronic can misguide people into thinking what bikes should and shouldn't be allowed on trails.
Yeah.
That's a scary thought.
It's bonkers, absolutely bonkers.
Okay, wicked. We've had a couple of questions in from you guys about tyre size.
Yeah, indeed we have. We've had this one from Flaju. Now, Flaju kind of betted that I wouldn't actually pronounce his name correctly.
Which you have.
Flaju from the Slovenian kind of Polish-Czech border. Now, Flaju wants to know whether to go for a high bike full fat 6, which is 120mm travel bike, or indeed for the 150 to 180 high bike. Now, I've not got much experience with fat bikes, but what are your thoughts on this?
You know what? I just want to give you a bit of a nudge towards that fat bike, because I love them. I think they look great. I love fat bikes before I even thought about fat e-bikes. Now, a fat e-bike, that really rings my bell. I think the silhouette looks good. I think it looks like fun. I think you'll be smiling on it all day. Go for the fat bike. I'm right, Steve, yeah?
Well, I kind of disagree with you, sorry, Martin. I think, you know, Flaju, if you've got a 150 to 180 bike, then if you compare that to the 120, the 180 is not going to be at any disadvantage riding down smoother trails. However, you ride that 120 bike down super technical terrain, and the 180 bike's going to be better every day of the week. So I think the longer travel bike.
Well, this boy knows his stuff, but I think fat bike smiles for miles. It's just what I'm thinking.
We've had lots of questions in about tyres, actually, Martin. This one from Graham Fragiacomo. Now, he's kind of talking about the difference in diameter between a 27.5 and a 29 in terms of the outer diameter, which is with the tyre included. Now, we're going into super fine detail here, really.
Yeah.
And, you know, it comes down to, is the bigger tyre more comfortable than the thinner tyre on the 29?
What? So we're talking about, is a 2.8, 27.5 tyre the same size or bigger and smaller than a 2.3, 29-inch tyre?
So the simple question...
Really?
Yeah. The simple answer to the question is, you know, it depends on the tyre, it depends on the rim width, And ultimately, it could be between 10 millimeters and 40 millimeters. Now, this is going to have a huge impact on your geometry of your bike. It's going to have an impact on the fatigue level you feel through the grips. You know, the thinner tire is obviously going to be more a rougher ride than the bigger tire.
Right, you know what, Steve? I'm not convinced. I'm just not convinced it makes that much difference. I mean, am I that wrong?
Well, look. 20 years ago, Honda motocross team decided to make a smaller diameter tyre. They went from 21-inch front to a 20-inch front. And the reason they did this was to improve the damping, the traction, and the braking. And this is on a 12-inch travel motocross bike. Now, don't tell me that it's not going to matter if it matters from a sport like that, where they're looking for the kind of fine margin. So yes, it does, it matters massively.
Well, it's a good try. I like your passion, but I think you're wrong.
Moving swiftly on into the tech this week, I had this great image through from Tyler McDonald. Now this follows on from the Canyon Spectral on e-bike last week. This is Tyler's take on a new Canyon downhill bike. Obviously it's his own images, they're not from Canyon. But I like it. I think it's a move away from the traditional kind of mountain bike silhouette. Look at that front triangle, it's kind of quite different, right? It's super neat.
It's a beautiful looking bike. Obviously it's conceptual, but I really like what it does when I think about downhill bikes.
Yeah.
You know, it's like e-bike downhill bikes. I mean, is that something we should be thinking about? Because that could transform how we ride downhill.
I think it's a good point there. Now, bear in mind the kind of the high bike and the Specialized Caneva, which we can use a lot of the time on EMBN, 180 mil travel. You know, downhill bike is 200 mil travel. But I think that kind of downhill is actually quite restricted on where you go because of the access. It has to have an access road to the top. So e-bike downhilling could open up massive opportunities from different tracks, different areas. I think more e-bike downhill bikes.
So what about all these downhillers we know behind the scenes are using e-bikes for their training all the time?
Yeah, totally.
So it's got to happen.
I think the opportunities there are massive. Martin, I kind of met up with an old boss of yours recently. From Vitus Bikes, Steve Kitchen.
Steve Kitchen, fantastic downhill rider himself. World Cup pro for a long time. Great rider, great guy.
Yeah. So this is what Vitus had to say about the new bikes. So Vitus Bikes have entered the e-bike game and I'm joined by Steve Kitchen, who is the brand manager for Vitus Bikes. So the big question is, why did Vitus enter the e-bike business?
I think one of the first reasons we did it was because we'd all tested a few e-bikes and absolutely loved it and wanted some bikes to get riding on and get testing.
Simple as that.
And it was like, this is too much fun. So we've come to market. This is the first year to market with these bikes, and we haven't got a huge amount. We're just this is the launch, see how it goes, and then.
So the bike arrives at your door.
Yep.
What happens next? Is it a big box? Is it a small box? Are we going to put it all together? What's involved?
So it's probably the biggest box you've ever seen. Before the bike goes in the box, so the bikes you either buy from Chain Reaction Cycles or from Wiggle.
Yeah.
Wiggle has got in the warehouse. They've got a full test track. So the bikes are PDI built. The mechanics will then ride the bike around the test track, make sure everything's working, and that's on all bikes, not just e-bikes. When everything's working, it then gets packed in a massive box.
Yeah, bigger than you've ever seen.
The biggest box you've ever seen. The stem plate comes off.
Right.
The bars are taken off. Everything's fully packed. Yeah. So when you get it, it's going to take you longer to get the packaging off it than it is to ride it.
Right.
So handlebars on, pedals on, the battery be fully charged, and you're ready to go.
It's simple as that.
That's it.
Great new range of bikes there from Vitus. On some finer detail, I saw this really good Lapierre anti-chain suck device on the internet recently. Basically kind of prevents the kind of front of the chain from kind of tangling up front, getting clogged with mud.
Yeah. Is that a big problem on e-bikes, chain suck?
It can be with a small chainring up front, but what this does, it kind of makes sure the front chainring gets kept really clean, really simple to fit, relatively cheap, and yeah, quite a good upgrade for a Bosch motor. And wrapping up the tech section for this week's show, it seems that Lapierre have been out in Corsica relaunching the snake tube technology on their e-bike. Lots of sun, lots of sand, although I'm not quite sure whether sand mixes too well with e-bikes.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that sand actually, but I tell you what I do think, Nico never looks bad, does he?
He never looks bad on an e-bike. So let's move on to where in the world you guys have been at this week. Had a great video in from Valentin Rizzo and David Casaretto, who've done this epic trip in Crans-Montana. Now, it seems like they caught the lift from the valley bottom up to 2,000 meters, and then they pedaled up to 3,000 meters. I mean, it looks great. It seems that David did this on a 460 watt battery. It seems like there's also some information here from the Wildstrubel hut, but yeah, what an epic tour.
Looks great.
I can see more people coming up with these big tours like this in the Alps, right?
And I tell you what, Steve, I just noticed this sentence at the end where he said, after the pass, you can eat something in the mountain refuge. There's also a
Steak
restaurant.
and chips?
Maybe. There's also a restaurant near the lake where you can have great beer, cheese and chocolate. Oh, come on, get in. That sounds amazing.
Meanwhile, back in the South Pacific, Mehdi Gebrelages and Frankie Verney and his mates have been at it again on the kind of magical Tahitian islands. Check this out.
Tahiti.
Here's a section I'd like to see more frequently on the EMBN show, and that's the kind of climb of the week.
Oh, I love this.
We recently had this in from Kieran Page, who's kind of based down in Nice, and he's talked about this insane slab that he'd like to conquer, and it seems like he's done pretty well. Check this out, Martin.
I think this is amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
here we go.
Now, Kieran's comes from a road race background.
Look at that!
And I think
God.
Seriously, if it looks steep on camera, you know that is a pretty technical hill climb.
He's going up there. Yeah. That is unbelievable.
Yeah. I wonder what that's like in the wet. It'd be horrendous.
But I just think he must the feeling of riding up there must just be brilliant.
Yeah,
that's
totally.
So
he's going to come back down in a minute. Just bear with us.
Yeah, that's the...
We can have a 5-second break there.
Here he goes.
Look at this. Here he's coming back down again.
Gonna put a bit of style in. Oh man, he's going quick. Whoa!
I mean, that's a pretty angled slab there.
I want to see more and more of that.
I want to see that every week in the show. So wherever you are in the world, whether you conquer the climb or totally kind of bail out, we want to see these videos of you guys mucking about on banks and slabs worldwide.
Yeah, you can't beat an e-bike and a bit of trials. Go for it. Let's see it. Okay, don't forget that you guys can support EMBN by heading over to the shop, checking out our amazing apparel with our branded kit. Some of it is very nice. I particularly like this black hat.
Suits you, the black, Mark.
Steve, I'd like to give you this hat.
That's very kind of you.
I know, it's very kind. Don't forget to check it out. The link's just there, and you can support EMBN and we can make all these great videos. Time for caption contest. We're going to take a look at what you guys had to say from last week's photo, which was this. Very nice.
From last week, we got Nemanja Maxikovic. When owner of the bike asks if you want to take a spin.
Yep.
Carter Hick, the Beauty V bikes. I just borrowed for 8 hours and still feel like dancing. And finally, Rob Chastain. You'll get a super nice if you add a little razzmatazz.
Right. Can I pick the winner? Okay, the winner is going to be, this week, is Rob Chastain. You get a little super nice if you add a little razzmatazz, like that. Hat on the way to you. Send us your details, you are a winner. Right, time for this week's photo. Take a look at that. Right, what caption can you put to it? Let us know in the comment section down below. Could be your chance to win an EMBN hat, just like Steve's.
Finally, the favourite part of the week, the kind of rules and regulations of the Bike Vault and Martin Ashton.
Let's get into it. It's John Veerback, and he is in...
the Ardèche.
Ardèche, look at that, that is nice.
Love it, absolutely love it.
What do you think?
And what have we got here? Is that Lapierre? Yeah.
It's a Lapierre.
French bike, French landscape,
I appreciate the composition. I think that is a super nice to start.
Certainly, you can't beat a good bit of composition.
Which horn are we going with this week, Steve?
I don't know. It's about time we sorted
let's go. Let's go with your.
Okay, you ready?
Horns.
Yes. Super nice.
Super nice. Perfect. Okay, next up.
Okay, this is Kay Peter from Jena in Germany. Now, I had this from Kay a couple of days ago. She's actually going to give me the full details of the upgrades she's made to this bike in terms of wheels, brakes, stuff like that. And yeah, fair dues. Nice one, Kay.
I think it's a beauty. I absolutely love it. I would never give that anything less than a super nice. Super nice. That is really good. Something about a nice stealth bike, isn't it?
Yeah, totally.
Whoa!
Ooh, Piers Spencer Phillips.
Oh.
A brace. Look at that, a brace of e-bikes. Yeah!
That's pushing the boundaries, really, because I don't know which one to look at, man. I don't know which one to look at. Well, this one's got hand guards, this one hasn't. So is that super nice or is this? I don't know.
I think super nice is always the bike that seems to be facing the right. I seem to think the bike on the right is facing the right direction. I think we've got a Yamaha motor here and a Bosch motor. This is integrated, that's non-integrated.
It's too much. It's too much.
It's not too
it's
much
nice.
at all.
It's nice. I couldn't possibly give out 2 super nice ones. It's nice.
I disagree.
Well, it's actually kind of your vault, dude. So
Keep going. Keep going.
Okay, right, next.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah.
Aaron Sherwin, 60 miles out of New York City.
Super nice.
It's got to be.
Super nice.
David Kellner from Germany.
Bold mudguard.
Very bold motocross mudguard.
Maybe too bold? I'd say that's too bold.
I'd say that's a nice.
It's nice.
Yeah,
It's a nice bike.
Nice
like
bike.
that one, David?
Yeah.
Nice. Next up.
Gazanodi. What? Gazanudi from North Yorkshire Moors. I like the composition of that.
I prefer a profile shot.
Okay, we'll move on then. That's a nice. Next one. Jeff Sisk, Yakima, Washington State. Ooh.
What bike's that, Steve? That's a meaty beast, isn't it?
I haven't got my glasses on. I can't actually see.
I can't read the writing on there. Let us know in the comment section down below. Tell us what that is.
Yeah.
It's
nice.
I'm sure you're all screaming at the camera. It's nice.
Yeah, move on.
It's nice.
Nice.
Pedals should have been at 3 o'clock.
Jasper Fach from Copenhagen.
It's a giant.
It's a giant. You got some history with giant, haven't you, Matt?
No.
That's what I thought. Me neither, but people keep saying, what have we got anything against giant?
I haven't
Nothing at all. We just don't get
No.
enough giant bikes on the show.
No, a colleague of mine used to ride for Giant for a long time.
Right.
Say colleague, should say best friend really, but
Right, okay.
I don't like to give him too much props.
Okay,
it's
why not?
bigger.
Okay, it's a nice.
That was an in-joke. Right, we're moving on. It's a nice.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Honestly.
Martin Scheider from Villach in Austria. That is actually one of the nicest shots I have seen on the EMBN vault.
Oh, come
That
on.
has got everything.
Martin Scheider, good name, too many bikes, one person, mountains. What am I looking at?
You're looking at the environment, a bunch of mates on the top of a mountain. He's got his mate in the shot. It's just got everything. It's nice weather. It's beautiful mountains. How can you not give that nothing less than a super nice?
Wow.
Sorry, Martin.
Breaking rules. Oh my God.
Another brace of bikes.
Oh, this is ridiculous.
Now this is the question of this. Pat Donoghue from Grisdale.
Honestly, dude, that's too many. I can't even see which bike's which.
Okay, move on. It's a nice. It's a nice. Rui from Portugal.
I like that.
I'm not sure about the kind of process on that. So that can only be a
I think
nice,
that's. I think that's a nice. It's nice.
Cool, all over the world this week. Oh my goodness, there you go, Canberra. Warwick Ingle from Stromlo. That's where the World Downhill Championships were.
I like that a
What
lot.
year were the World Championships held in Stromlo, Canberra?
Would that have been
Friend of ours, Steve Peat, won it.
2000 and oh God, 2003?
Well, when Steve Peat won the World Downhill Championships.
Oh, I don't know. Steve got close so many times I got bored.
Okay, nice or super nice?
Super nice. Oh, I love the bike vault this week. So good.
So many rules, so many regulations.
You had a lot of controversy.
Not controversial at all. It's just people having a great time in the hills with their bikes.
You're a dangerous man. Hard to argue with. Hard to argue with.
Yeah.
Can your bike get in the bike vault? There's only one way to find out. Send it in to us. There's the email address. You've got no excuse. Is it a super nice? Who knows?
Definitely. Check out these videos, the Fabien Barel riding tips, which we did recently. Insane, much kind of technical ride in there. And also the Bike Buyer's Guide, which is everything you need to know about buying your first e-bike.
Absolutely. Don't forget to click on the globe there to subscribe. And one last thing, give us a thumbs up like. See you next week.